guys, happy to be back again for another episode. Today we'll be getting amongst the city of Haarlem. So get comfortable, or if you're at work, lock yourself in a cupboard for the next 10 minutes while I take you on a quick trip through the iconic and hidden gems this city has to offer. We'll also explore the history of the city and speak with some of the locals to check the vibe and hear what they have to say about living here. So without further ado, let's get amongst it! Whether you decide on taking the train, bus, car or plane, you'll find yourself in no time walking along the cobbled streets of Haarlem. Schiphol Airport is the country's largest airport and closest airport to Haarlem. From there you can take the direct bus or a train with one stopover to Haarlem. This will take around 30 to 45 minutes. If you want a quicker alternative, just jump in an Uber or taxi, which costs between 35 and 60 euros, but depending on traffic it could cost a little more. Quick trivia fact, some scenes from the film Ocean's 12 were shot in Haarlem train station. So if you travel by train, see if you can find those locations and make a photo. If you email me the photos, I'll add the photos at the end of the next episode. So as per tradition, let's start in the historical centre, and for Haarlem that is none other than the Grote Markt. Here you will find gathered together a large number of the most interesting buildings Haarlem has to offer, such as the Vleeshal, which used to be the only place in Haarlem where fresh meat was allowed to be sold, the Hofwacht, which was built in the 13th century and is considered the oldest building in Haarlem. Between the years 1250 to around 1350, the building served as the first city hall of Haarlem. The Grote Kerk, which is a Reformed Protestant church and former Catholic cathedral. Also located here is the statue of Laurens Janszoon Coster, who was a Haarlem native and the purported inventor of the printing press. He allegedly invented printing simultaneously with Johannes Gutenberg and was regarded by some people in the Netherlands as having invented printing first. The entire city of Haarlem is steeped in history, so why wait? Let's get amongst the past! The oldest mention of Haarlem dates from the 10th century. The name probably comes from Haarloheim, which loosely translates to home on a forested dune. If you look at this map, you can see that there is also a stream called De Beek, running straight through the Grote Markt. This was dug from the peak grounds west of the river Spaarne, and was used as a drainage canal. Over the century, as the city grew larger and more space was needed for construction, De Beek turned into an underground canal. Over time, De Beek began to silt up, and in the 19th century it was completely filled in by the city. By the 12th century, Haarlem became the residence of the Counts of Holland, and the town was fortified. Also at this time, Haarlem received the rights to bear the Count's sword and cross in its coat of arms by Count Willem I due to its conquest of the Egyptian port Damiette. Over the next 100 years, the city had multiple fires as all the buildings in the city were made out of wood. In 1576, as mercenaries were warming themselves by a fire in a brewery near De Spaarne, it somehow got out of control, which eventually led to a third of the city being destroyed. Around this time, Haarlem was also besieged by a Spanish army. Despite Haarlem's ultimate fall, the fact that the Haarlemers had been able to stand for 7 months against the whole Spanish army inspired the rest of Holland to resist the invaders. This also gave Prince of Orange time enough to prepare and arm the rest of the country for war, which was eventually won. Not long after this marked the beginning of the Dutch Golden Age. This turned cities like Haarlem into artistic hubs where artists were able to prosper. If you're interested in learning more about the Spanish siege, I recommend that you take a walking tour through Haarlem and learn all about the Battle of Haarlem. Okay, let's move on to some of the more iconic places to visit while you are here. Visit the country's oldest museum and experience art and science at Tyler's Museum. The museum has an extensive collection that includes masterful paintings, ancient fossils and minerals, and plenty more. The building's magnificent 200-year-old Oval Hall is an attraction in itself. It also hosts a changing lineup of fascinating exhibitions. If you're into fine art, then definitely check out the Frans Hals Museum. Here you'll find the largest collection of Frans Hals paintings in the world, as well as works by other famous artists from Haarlem and elsewhere. When you visit, see if you can find the painting that was animated earlier in this video. Hop on a train and take a day trip to Zandvoort. Thanks to its long sandy beach on the North Sea, this town is a popular seaside resort. Wander around the many streets and explore this cute town. After you're done exploring, head to the beach and relax in the sun or go for a swim. I recommend heading to Berg and getting amongst some kibbeling. So lekker! Also, check the dates for the Dutch Grand Prix before you plan your visit, because Zandvoort is the host and it can get extremely busy. Your stay in Haarlem would not be complete without a visit to Molen de Adriaan. The windmill is conveniently located in the city centre on the bank of the river Spaarne. If there is a miller present, you will see the windmill in action. You can also book a guided tour, which will take around 45 minutes. If you love nature, then visit Haarlemmerhout. It is the oldest park of the Netherlands. It was burned by the Spaniards during the siege of Haarlem, but replanted. The east-west road at the southern edge of the park still exists and is called Spanjaardslaan in memory of this event. Haarlemmerhout also has a petting zoo and deer camp, with all kinds of different animals to look at and pet called de Houthoeve. After the journey, you can sit down at the end and have something to eat and drink at the super cute Thee House. Travel back in time with a visit to Pavilion Welgelegen. The pavilion has richly decorated rooms with furniture that has been restored to its original state. You will also find works of art in the museum and in the garden. Guided tours are possible by appointment, but for more information, best to check out their website. Situated in an old church, definitely check out Brouwerij Jopen. It was founded in 1992 and is one of the main breweries operating in Haarlem today. The name comes from the 112-litre barrels of beer that were made in the past called Jopen. During the Middle Ages, up until the 17th century, beer brewing was a very important industry in Haarlem. At one point, there was a reported 100 breweries registered in Haarlem. Unfortunately, due to the Black Death, only 7 breweries survived, and by 1820, no breweries were registered in the city. In the 1990s, the Stichting Haarlems Biergenootschap revived some of the old recipes under the Jopen beer brand. Visit Kathedraal Basiliek Sint Bavo. It was designed by Joseph Kuipers and is made up of 12 large and small towers and a dome of 65 meters high. The church contains architectural styles such as Neo-Gothic, Neo-Romanesque, and Art Nouveau. It is very unique, and from all the churches built between 1850 and 1950, it ranked in the top 5 most important churches in the world. There are so many things to see and do while you're here visiting Haarlem. Saying that, I have also made an honourable list for the more popular attractions I have missed. There are also some seasonal events which I list here too. Now let's move on to some of the less iconic places to visit while you are here. Take a short trip and visit Zuid-Kennemerland National Park. Here you will have an array of activities to choose from, like running, horseback riding, reading a book, paddle in the water, yoga, walking, picnicking, taking photographs, or take a trip with a forest ranger. Naturally, you can also study the flora and fauna. The park offers hundreds of kilometers of footpaths, biking tracks, and bridle paths. Travel back in time and experience what it would be like to own a stunning mansion as a rich merchant in Haarlem at Huis Bernard. If you're one of those people that like to touch everything in the museum and are always getting in trouble, then this is the museum for you. Here you may open all the cupboards and doors and sit on the furniture as much as you like. In saying that, it's probably not a good idea to touch the paintings or swing off the chandeliers. As the Dutch would say, doe maar gewoon. Check out the Amsterdamse Poort. Don't let the name fool you, because it is in fact a city gate situated in Haarlem. This mid-14th century gate is located at the end of Spaanwoudestraat and the old route from Amsterdam to Haarlem. The Amsterdamse Poort is the only gate that remains of the original 14 gates. It was built in 1355 during the first expansion of the city. According to tradition, Kenau Simonsdochter Hasselaar is said to have stood on the ramparts at the Amsterdamse Poort to repel the Spanish attack during the 80 Years' War. It is the only gate that survived the siege without significant damage. As of 1960, Amsterdamse Poort is a national monument, and I urge you to go see it in all its glory. Now let's get amongst the locals!
Ik ben geboren en getogen in Haarlem, maar woon al geruime tijd niet meer in Haarlem. Kom hier nog wel iedere week in verband met mijn familie.
Ik ben geboren en getogen in Haarlem. Ik ben nu 63. Nee, dat klopt helemaal. Ik ben nu 92. En ik heb al die tijd in Haarlem gewoond. Ik werkte bij Heesemans. Dat was een atelier en daar was ik naaister. Maar ik ben begonnen als leerling naaister. En ik was 16 jaar toen ik daar begon. En ik heb daar 10 jaar gewerkt. Ja, hele nieuwe huizen zijn er gekomen, nieuwe winkels. Het is heel erg veranderd.
Ja, Haarlem is best wel veel veranderd. Er zijn veel nieuwe huizen bijgebouwd, veel nieuwe wijken bijgekomen. En ik denk dat er heel veel mensen vanuit Amsterdam in Haarlem zijn gaan wonen. Omdat huizen in Amsterdam te duur werden en Haarlem net ietsjes kleiner is daarvoor. Haarlem staat bekend om veel kroegjes en restaurants. Dus als je lekker wil eten en ergens gezellig wil zitten, dan heb je alle kans om hier een leuk tentje te vinden. Shoppen. Haarlem heeft een goed centrum met heel diverse winkels. Ook hele leuke kleine winkeltjes in de kleine straatjes achteraf. En anders zou je toch de stad uit moeten gaan. Lekker op de fiets richting Zandvoort of Bloemendaal. Hele mooie route richting het strand.
De stad. Ik ging vroeger veel naar de stad. Nou, het is momenteel te druk. Ik kom niet zoveel meer in de stad. Want ik ben natuurlijk op een leeftijd, bijna 92, dat je niet meer naar de stad gaat. Ik laat alles thuis brengen.
Ik denk dat heel veel wijken toch wel heel erg verjongd zijn met jonge gezinnen. En een van de dingen die ik daar lastig bij vind, zijn die grote fietsbakken. Van die kinderbakken die dan aan de stoeprand staan en dat als je je auto dan parkeert, eigenlijk je auto niet meer uit kan komen. Maar ook voor oudere mensen denk ik dat dat best lastig is, omdat alle stoepen soms ook heel erg vol staan. Dus dat zou ik als nadeel voornamelijk zien in een drukker wordend Haarlem. Ik denk dat voor jonge gezinnen dat ze wel handig zijn, dat je in ieder geval als je meerdere kinderen hebt in één keer mee kan nemen. Of voor je boodschappen, want dat zie je natuurlijk ook heel veel gebeuren. Maar aan de stoeprand zijn ze vervelend.
Dan kan je richting strand, dat is 6 kilometer, het Bloemendaalse strand. En je kan ook naar de duinen. Wij wonen heel centraal. Je kan naar het station, als je met de trein weg wil. Als je uit eten wil, nou je hebt rondom leuke restaurantjes. En dan kan je lekker eten en drinken. Ja.
Haarlem is een stad waar veel dingen georganiseerd worden. Culinair Haarlem, Haarlem Jazz, bloemencorso voor de oudere mensen. Ook altijd heel erg mooi. Dus genoeg leuke dingen om ook die wat anders zijn dan in andere steden.
Get amongst it and subscribe.
Get amongst it and subscribe.
So there we have it, my friends. For all you guys that stuck it out until the end of this video, I can't thank you enough. I really hope you enjoyed the content and learned something new along the way. If you're interested in being interviewed in your hometown, please send an email inquiry here. If the stars align and your town is on the list, hopefully that can be organized. Also, don't forget to head to the comments section and let me know what you thought of the video. Maybe I forgot to mention something super important that might be useful for others. For those of you that want to get amongst the donations and help this channel grow, please feel free to head on over to Buy Me a Coffee and get amongst that. All links and extra information about this video will be added to the description. Thanks again and see you guys on the next adventure. Tot ziens!